Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to DiscussionVerse, and in this video I'm going to be going over the brand new trailer for 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, which just dropped today. And let me tell you, I am beyond hype, especially after how intense and unforgettable 28 Years Later was. We're now getting another entry in the franchise within less than a year of each other, with Bone Temple dropping on January 16, 2026. That's 2 movies in under 12 months for a franchise that once went dormant. That's absolute madness, but I'm all here for it. Now, before I dive into everything this trailer reveals, from the new sinister villains with the Jimmy Gang, the religious symbolism scene, the fate of Dr. Kelson, Spike's role in all of this, and yes, also the tease of Cillian Murphy's Jim returning. That being said, this is your friendly reminder to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and then you're going to want to click subscribe and turn on that notification bell. Please consider helping the channel reach that 1,000 subscriber goal. With that out of the way, let's get right into it. So the trailer opens with the Bone Temple itself, and that's a monument that was first introduced in 28 Years Later through Dr. Kelson. This ties into Dr. Kelson's belief in memento mori, which is the idea of remembering death as a guiding philosophy. Right away, we're thrown into imagery that feels both haunting and symbolic, setting up the Bone Temple as more than just a backdrop. And with this trailer reveal, it's apparent that the Bone Temple is going to become the stage for some of the film's biggest confrontations. We then cut to a train sequence, which is then revealed to be a flashback to before the outbreak fully ravaged the UK, and unlike much of the bleak post-outbreak setting, this train is full of uninfected passengers. Outlets like Deadline previously hinted at the sequel, giving us more glimpses of the outbreak's origins, and this seems to be our first payoff. But if you pause on the frames, you'll notice this is like the train crash site we see in 28 Years Later, meaning we might finally get answers to what really happened there with all the trains that derailed and crashed. And it's even possible that Dr. Kelson was amongst one of these trains, and that's why he sticks around the trains and continues to scavenge them. There's even a photograph of Kelson and what looks like his wife or spouse seen amongst his personal collection in his hideout. It's heavily implied these photos were recovered from the wreckage, maybe even the same train. If Kelson was on that train, the tragedy may have directly strengthened his belief and philosophy of memento mori and his place in this new world amongst the infected in the quarantine zone. Now, let's talk about Sir Jimmy Crystal, because Jack O'Connell is eating this role alive. The trailer shows Jimmy Crystal and his gang in full force, torturing survivors, raiding hideouts, hoarding resources. The brutality is turned up even higher here, showing how dangerous humans have become inside the quarantine zone. While we knew that was already hinted in 28 Years Later, especially with that ending, we are now being given a first-hand view as to how evil the Jimmy Gang is. And something that really stood out to me was that Sir Jimmy Crystal strikes a very deliberate pose that looks eerily similar to Baphomet imagery. Add that to the upside-down cross necklace he inherited from his father in 28 Years Later, and we now got him leaning heavily into satanic symbolism. There's also a shot of one of the Jimmys played by Erin Kellyman, who you remember from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and she is sporting a carved upside-down cross in her forehead. This could imply that all the members of the Jimmy Gang had to do something similar in terms of carving an upside down cross onto their body. It's a really chilling way to show Jimmy Crystal as not just a warlord, but as someone embracing darkness in a near religious sense. If the infected are monsters of instinct, Jimmy Crystal might be shaping himself into the face of evil, a human villain with mythic, almost demonic undertones. And let's not forget about Spike, as the trailer makes it clear he's now running with the Jimmy Rangers or the Jimmy Gang, but you can feel his unease. We see flashes of him witnessing the torture and brutality firsthand, especially when the Jimmy Gang comes across that family of survivors. Spike could very well end up torn between loyalty to Jimmy's crew and the bond that he developed with Dr. Kelson, seen in the events of 28 Years Later. Speaking of Dr. Kelson, the trailer also teases more of the strange bond between Samson, the alpha infected, and Dr. Kelson. It's important to note how this confrontation we see Kelson face to face with the alpha once again with no immediate violence. That's a major hint to a developing evolution of the alpha himself, and also that Kelson has a unique understanding of the infected that no one else has. There's also a few mysterious shots of a bow and arrow wielding survivor that fans online are already speculating could be Samson as he was human before becoming infected. Though, seeing as most fell for Zombie Jim after the first 28 Years Later trailer, I definitely do not think that that's the case with this shot. In fact, we see a later shot of maybe Samson, maybe not Samson, catch up to this very survivor wearing the same blue coat, and we see as the alpha performs the grisly decapitation finisher that they are now known for. But for sure, we are going to see more of Samson, and whether we will see him as a human, that's up to discussion and up in the air for now. Based on prior reported test screenings and from their trailer that just dropped, it's confirmed that Sir Jimmy Crystals and the Jimmy Rangers will attack the Bone Temple and clash with Dr. Kelson. It's been discussed how the third act of the Bone Temple is really supposed to ramp things up, and we know there's going to be a confrontation between Sir Jimmy Crystal and Dr. Kelson himself, which would most likely involve Spike having to make a choice to where he stands. We see additional trailer shots building up that confrontation between Sir Jimmy Crystal and Dr. Kelson, as there is a great shot of Sir Jimmy Crystal coming up on the Bone Temple and behind Dr. Kelson, and begins to circle and stalk him as if he is his prey. The trailer then wraps up with a handful of haunting shots. We see a few closing shots of Samson. We see a scene where one of the members of the Jimmy clan is about to kill Spike, with them having a knife placed right across his mouth while Spike tries to fight back. We then see what appears to be Dr. Calson letting out a primal roar as Jimmy circles him in the temple ruins. Some are speculating this means Calson becomes infected, but I'm leaning toward it being more of a warrior's battle cry before his last stand. Either way, his chances do not look great, and his end may be one of the most emotional centerpieces of the film. And of course, the cat is out of the bag, with Cillian Murphy's Jim coming back to the new trilogy, as Danny Boyle confirmed during press for 28 years later, along with Cillian Murphy, that he would reprise his role across the new trilogy. It is known that Jim's role in this movie is going to be relatively small, and Cillian Murphy's Jim will likely appear in the third or fourth act before taking on a bigger role with the third movie of the new trilogy. His return ties the entire saga back to 28 Days Later and continues to cement it as one of the most ambitious horror franchises ever attempted. I know I'm going to be there day one, and I encourage all of you to also be there day one, because your support guarantees the third movie with Cillian Murphy. So you want to keep that in mind. Anyway, that does wrap up my thoughts here on 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, which looks like it's pushing the franchise even further with bold and ambitious moves with the religious symbolism, the human villainy, and the tragic evolution of the infected. It's clear that with Nia DaCosta stepping into the director's chair, you can already sense her understanding of the material and how she is bringing fans something truly special. The trailer absolutely delivers, as we get transformations, we get relentless chases with the signature rage-fueled attacks that define the franchise from the start. Plus, we also get shots of the twisted Jimmy gang and Spike's journey at play. If you're as hyped as I am, you better smash that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and then you're going to want to leave a comment down below. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Peace!